Hello everybody, welcome to EPG Pathshala. We'll be looking at the module on Right to Information Act in the course Legal Literacy. I'm Monica Sakrani. Right to information actually has been held by the Supreme Court as part of Article 19(1)(e), which is right to freedom of speech and expression. The court as far back as in 1976 said that unless there is information, how will you be able to express and speak? So the campaign for right to information actually began as a part of right to work campaign by the organization MKSS, where the organization started demanding information regarding public works and the budgetary allocation for public works in order to demand work under the NREGS. This led to the campaign, a national level campaign on the right to information, and the national campaign along with the Press Council of India drafted the Right to Information Act. This led to passing of several Right to Information Acts in various states, and finally the Freedom of Information Act in 2002. In 2005, this act was repealed and the Right to Information Act was passed. Now, what does this Right to Information Act do? It gives you if you're a citizen of this country, it gives you the right to ask for information from any public authority. So for us, it's important to first know what kind of information we can ask for. So what is information? Information is any material in any form, including records, documents, memos, emails, opinions, advices, press releases, circulars, orders, logbooks, contracts, reports, papers, samples, models, data material held in any electronic form, which is held by a public authority. Or if it relates to a private authority, then something which is accessible by a public authority under any law. Now, what is a record? A record is any document, manuscript or file. It is any microfilm, a fax, any reproduction of image, or any material produced by a computer or any other device. So now we come to who is a public authority. Now, public authority are all bodies or authorities or institutions of self-government established by or constituted by under the constitution or any law made by the parliament or state legislature. So the parliament, the legislature, the panchayats, the municipalities, or any other body which is constituted or established by the government is public authority. The other other organizations that come under public authorities are organizations and bodies that are owned, controlled, or substantially financed by the government. Even NGOs come under this act if they are substantially funded both directly as well as indirectly by the government. So this is the public authority. So any information that is held by a public authority or by any of the public authorities of any private authority under any law. For example, income tax department has our information, or so government may have, banks have our information. So all these organizations also which hold private information but are under our public authorities would also be public authorities under this act. Educational institutions. So what kind of right do I have to information? So please note that a citizen can ask for information. If you're a corporate body, then you cannot ask for information. If you're a foreigner, you cannot ask for information. But if you're a corporate body, a person who is working for you can ask for information even if the person is a citizen of this country. So just by virtue of the fact that I'm working for an organization does not mean that I'm not entitled to information, but I have to ask for information as a citizen. Now, what kind of information? Inspection of work, documents, records, taking notes, extracts or certified copies of documents or records, taking certified samples of material, obtaining information in the form of soft copies. So I can ask for information in hard form, like I can ask for documents, I can ask for certified copies of documents, I can ask for soft copies of documents, I can ask for samples. At the same time, I can say that I want to take inspection of these documents and then I can choose what information I want. So suppose I don't know whether the information is there or not, I want to take inspection and then I will choose what kind of information from here that I want, then I can ask for a hard copy or a soft copy of that information. I can also take notes, so that is another important factum of getting information. Now, whom do I ask for information, or whom do I go to for information, or if information is not given to me? So there are these authorities which are set up. The basic authority is every public authority should appoint public information officers who are responsible for giving information to the citizens. Now, who are these public information officers? They are any officer of any public authority, and it is not necessary that one public authority, for example, the railways, should appoint only one PIO. They must appoint more than one PIO. In every office, in every branch, in every division, you can have a separate PIO. You can have multiple PIOs in an organization, and each one will be given the responsibility of giving information regarding one aspect. Now, all this information has to be made available. But what happens if I ask for information, I make an application for information to the wrong PIO? Does he say that I will not give it to you? No. He has to accept my application and pass it on to the person who is actually responsible for giving me that information. So merely by the fact that I don't know who the PIO is and I just give it to somebody doesn't mean that my application will be rejected on that ground. It has to be sent to the person who actually holds the information. The PIO can take assistance of any person for getting the information that he requires or she requires to give it to the person who is asking for it. Apart from the PIOs who are responsible for giving information, there is Assistant Public Information Officer whom I can make the application to. So I need not approach the PIO, I can approach the Assistant PIO and give the application for information to that person. Now they have to accept it and pass it on to the concerned PIO. All postal authority, all post offices have an officer appointed. So the postal department has appointed assistant PIOs. So I may not need to go to the particular government office or the public authority from whom I ask information. I can go to the post office and I can ask for the assistant PIO, and all this information has to be made available to the people. So I can go there and I can give my application to the assistant PIO, and the assistant PIO has to pass it on to whoever is responsible for giving the information, whichever PIO, or to the appellate authority or the information commissioners. Now, suppose information is not given to me, or information is denied to me, or I'm not happy with the information that is given to me, I can file an appeal, and the PIO, while refusing me information or while granting me information, has to inform me in that note that you have the right to file an appeal against this order, and the name of the appellate authority. The appellate authority in every public authority is an officer who is senior to the PIO. So there has to be an appellate authority assigned who will hear appeals against orders of the PIO. Now, if I am still aggrieved by this appellate authority's order, or if information has been denied to me or has not been given to me within the time period, then I also have the right to go to the information commissioner. Now, both the state as well as the central government appoint one chief information commissioner and to be assisted by not more than 10 information commissioners. These are people who are not public servants, who are not holding public office, they are not holding office of profit, and they are not members of the parliament or members of the legislative assembly. They are not members of any political parties. These are people who are working on the issue of right to information, or are public spirited people. They may be lawyers, they may be social workers, and they hold office and they give information. They hold office for around 5 years or 65 years of age, whichever is earlier, and they are in charge of they are the people whom we go to if we are aggrieved by any violation of this act. Now, there are two types of information that every public authority is supposed to give. One is the information that we seek, which is we make an application under section 6 of the act. We will be looking at that in a little while. Before that, there is also information that every public authority is supposed to put in the public domain. So if you go to any website of any government office, you will find a lot of information is there. It is there thanks to the RTI Act, the Right to Information Act. Even in panchayats and police stations, we find boards where information has been put up. This also is because of the Right to Information Act. Now, what is the public authority is supposed to do on its own. Suo motu means on its own. It has to provide information in accessible form, in the language that people understand. So it has to be in the local language, and in a manner in which people will understand what the information is. The particulars of the organization, now I have not listed out all the information that they're supposed to put up. It is there in your e-text. Please look at that for further information. But basically what they're supposed to put up is particulars of its organizations, functions, duties, powers and duties of employees, names of all the employees in the organization, procedure to be followed in decision-making process, including channels of supervision and accountability, rules, regulations, instructions, manuals, records held by it under its control or used by the employees for discharging its functions. So if I go under section 4 and I look at what information they have, it will assist me in filing an application under section 6. Also what it will do is, some of the information, if it is already available on the in the public domain under section 4, then I need not ask for information under section 6. Also, if the information is supposed to be displayed in public domain under section 4 and it is not being done, then I can go before the chief commissioner or any of the commissioners and information commissioners and ask for this information to be put in the public domain instead of making an application under the Right to Information Act. Now what is the other information that is to be put up? Statements of the categories of documents that are held by it or under its control, any arrangement that exists in consultation with or representation by the members of the public in relation to the formulation of its policy or implementation. So, what kind of, public, while formulating its policy, what is the scope for consultation with the public or public hearings? A statement of the board, councils, committees and other bodies, and whether their meetings are open to the public, and or the minutes of such meetings, whether the minutes of such meetings are accessible to the public. So all this also has to be informed, that how far can because the Supreme Court has not only held that right to information is a fundamental right in order for freedom of speech and expression, but also for transparency in governance and for democratic governance. And also the monthly remuneration received by each of the officers and employees and the budgetary allocations that are made for the particular department or public authority. The manner of execution of the subsidiary programs, the particulars of recipients or concessions, permits and authorizations granted to it, details in respect of information available to it or held by it, particulars of facilities available to citizens for obtaining the information, and of course the details of all the PIOs. Now if I still don't get this information, then I can make an application, or my information is very particular to me, then I can make an application under section 6 of the Act. A person can write an application in any form. There's no definite form of writing the application, but what it should contain are the following. One is that it should be in writing. If I cannot write it, the PIO or the assistant PIO is supposed to help me write it. The other is that it should be written either in English or Hindi or in the official language of the state. It should have my details, my personal details, my contact details, so that the authority can get back to me with the information. So that is important. My phone number if required, my email if I want it by soft copy, in what form I want the information, I have to specify that. And I have to say that what is the information that I'm seeking. So it has to be very exact. I cannot ask for reasons that why was this not granted to me. I can ask for what was the basis on which this or the decision making, the documents which were there, or I can, so in whatever form the information is held, I have to ask for information on that form. So if the information is not collated, I cannot ask for the PIO to collate that information and give it. I cannot ask the PIO for reasons unless the reason is there in a document. So only the form in which the information is there in that particular document. So it is very important for us to go back to the definition of information before we ask for information. We have to ask for the particulars of the information, the particulars of the documents that we are seeking, and there is no need to give any reason why we want to have that information. No public authority can ask you why do you want this information. It is the right of the citizen to ask for information. Now, every application for under RTI has to be accompanied by a fee. Now, this fee is 10 rupees under the regulations. The fee has been fixed by the government as 10 rupees. But for any information that you seek, there are classes of fee payment that one has to make. So generally, for every copy of a document for one page, you pay 2 rupees. And for the soft copies, for floppies or CDs, you have to pay 50 rupees. So for every type of information, you can ask for, you have to be willing, you have to express your willingness to pay the additional fee. If you want it by post, by registered AD, then you have to pay that additional fee. Fees are generally paid through POs, by postal orders or by demand draft. And if you have the right to file an RTI through there are also organizations which permit filing of RTI through the method, then you have to make the payment and then you have to show the proof of payment in that case. Otherwise, you have to attach the payment when you send the RTI. If you belong to the below poverty level line category, then you don't have to pay RTI, but you have to specify whether you belong to the BPL group or not. Now, application should also specify in what form you are seeking information, whether it's by post or person. Now, generally, if you're asking for a lot of information or you're asking for you don't know exactly how you're going to find the information, you want inspection of records to find some certain things, then you ask for inspection of that particular record and you go there, and then you can always cull out the information, make notes if you need to, or ask for certified copies of whichever documents you take you choose after taking inspection of the document. Now, file notings also have to be given. Now, the timeline for grant of information is 30 days. Where information is sought about the life or liberty of a person within 48 hours, this information has to be given. Failure to give information within the timeline is deemed to be rejection of the request. But the rejection, if the information is rejected, then the order should give reasons. So I do not have to give reasons why I want information, but the PIO has to give reasons about why he or she is not giving me the information. And also, as already said, the appellate authority's name has to be given in that order, as well as the time period for filing an appeal. Now, the time period for filing an appeal is 30 days, but the appellate authority can extend it to 45 days. If I am not satisfied with the appellate authority's order, then I can file the second appeal to the Information Commissioner within 90 days of the rejection. Now, there is a certain type of information that is exempt under the Act, and this is done under Section 8. Now, what is the information that would not be given, which would prejudicially affect the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security, strategic, scientific or economic interest of the state, relationship with foreign states, or lead to incitement of an offence. But if the information is over 20 years old, then this information can be given. Expressly forbidden to be published by any court of law or tribunal, or the disclosure of which may constitute contempt of court, or which would cause breach of privilege of parliament or state legislature. Even in this case, if it's a 20-year-old information, then it has to be given. Commercial confidence, trade secrets, intellectual property and disclosure which would harm the competitive position of a third party, except where there's a larger public interest involved. So even copyright, what would lead to infringement of copyright, even that information cannot be given. Information that is available to a person in his fiduciary relationship except in larger public interest. So income tax authorities, banks, hospitals, educational institutions which hold information on fiduciary capacity may refuse to give this information, or which is received in confidence from foreign government, or which would endanger the life or physical safety of any person, the identity or identify the source of information or assistance given in confidence for law enforcement or for security purposes, which would impede the process of investigation or apprehension or prosecution of offenders, cabinet papers including records of deliberations of the Council of Ministers, secretaries and other officers, but their decisions and the reasons and the material on which it would be based will be made public after the decision is over or after the matter is closed. And lastly, information which relates to personal information or the disclosure of which has no relationship to any public activity or interest, or which would cause unwarranted invasion of the privacy of the individual except in the larger public interest. So this is relating to third party rights, where there is a infringement of a third party right, because right to privacy is also a fundamental right under Article 19(1)(a). But if the PIO considers that the larger public interest demands that this information should be given, then he cannot divulge this information unless he gives notice to the person whose rights whose information is sought. So the third party has to be given notice and heard before deciding the case, and also has the right to appeal. So within 5 days of receipt of this application for information, if the PIO comes to a conclusion that yes, he should divulge the information, he has to give notice to the third party. Third party has 10 days time to give his reply or her reply about why this information should not be divulged, or if they have no objection to the information being divulged. But generally people will object, so they have the right to object. And they also have, if the information is still given, then I have the right to be heard before the decision is taken. And if the information is given, then I have to be informed that the information is given and that I have a right to appeal against this, and whom I should file the appeal. And the appeal procedure will be the same as rejection in cases of rejection. Now, if suppose information is third party information is such that it can be given part of the if under section 8, if part of the information can be disclosed because it does not fall under this under the categories under section 8, and part of the information falls under the section 8, then if the information can be segregated or severed, reasonably severed from any part that contains exempted information, that information has to be given. But when the PIO gives that information, he should state that only part of the information is given, because part of the information which is not supplied to you is covered by the exemptions under section 8, and therefore they are not being given to you, and that has to be informed, and that you have a right to appeal. Any information that cannot be denied to the Parliament or state legislature shall not be denied to any person. Also the Act, we are governed by the Official Secrets Act, which was passed during the time of the British. So there's secrecy in governance, and what the RTI does is it directly challenges the secrecy in governance. So the RTI Act gives has overriding power over the Official Secrets Act, and the public interest in disclosure outweighs the harm to the protected interest. Now certain organizations are also exempt from this information from the RTI. So you cannot ask for information. All public authorities are not covered. These are public authorities which are exempt from giving information under RTI. These are mainly security organizations, intelligence organizations such as RAW, Intelligence Bureau, CRPF, BSF. So there's a schedule in the Act, and that contains the list of all the organizations that are exempt from the Act, and it will not apply. But as a caveat, 2 types of information even these organizations have to give: information that relates to corruption and human rights violation. But the only thing is they have 45 days time to give the information. Now we come to what is the role of commissions and what do they hear, what kind of complaints come before them. So they will hear a complaint where there is no PIO appointed, or where the APIO has refused to accept the complaint or the appeal, where there is refusal to give information, or within the time limit there has been no reply, or you've been asked to pay a fee that you consider unreasonable, or you've been given what you consider to be false, incomplete or misleading information, or any other matter pertaining to the relating to requesting and obtaining access to information. Now the information commissions are basically function as judicial officers. They have the right to summon anybody, right to ask for any document to be produced before them, and ask any reply or information to be given to them. If any information is denied to a citizen, then the reasons have been given stating something, then the commissioner can call for that particular document or call for that record and actually look at that to see whether the reasons which are given are cogent and whether there is a denial of information is proper. Now they can also request the public authority to provide access to information in a particular form. They can direct that a PIO be appointed. They can ask for publishing of certain information or categories of information under section 4 of the Act. So if 4 is not being complied with, you can go to the commissioner and say that, you know, whatever information has to be put up in the public domain is not being put up, or not completely being put up, or updated information is not being put up, because under section 4 the information also has to be continuously updated. By making necessary changes in its practices in relation to maintenance, management and destruction of records, by enhancing the provision of training on right to information for its officials, and every organization has to publish an annual report. So if that is not being published, then that, or it's not being given to the informant or to the citizen, then that it can direct that information should be given. They can also require the public authority to compensate the complainant for any loss or other detriment suffered. They can impose any of the penalties provided under this Act. Any violation of the Act would lead to a penalty. They can reject the application if they feel that yes, there is no, the public authority, PIO was correct in its decision. Now what is important is that PIO, if he rejects information, the burden of proving that it was a reasonable order is on the PIO and not on the applicant or the appellant, who has to prove that yes, the information that I sought has to be given to me. So the burden is not on the applicant or the citizen, it is on the PIO who is rejecting the application. If the PIO comes to a conclusion that the information which was provided was not provided for no reason at all, or for malicious purpose, it was maliciously denied to a person, or misleading information was given to a person, or the records were destroyed by the PIO, then he can impose a penalty of 250 rupees a day till the information is furnished to the person, up to a maximum of 25,000 rupees. Also, it can direct action against the public authority or the particular officer under the service regulations. Now this in a nutshell is the RTI Act. Apart from that, you can get a lot of information if you go to the government website on RTI. There is a very interesting quiz that you can play to find out whether you are really, how well you know the RTI Act. Another very good source of information is the booklet by Shailesh Gandhi, who was Chief Commissioner Chief Information Commissioner on the Right to Information Act. There's a good format given. There's a lot of material on the net, but Shailesh Gandhi's format on how to make an application for Right to Information Act is a very good source for information. Thank you very much. So we've learned about the RTI Act in this and how to use the RTI to further our rights. Thank you very much.